Afternoon, and welcome to another Nerd Tube review. I am joined here by Zam. How you doing?
Hello there. I apologize for the lateness. It was all my fault.
We are talking about Titans season 4, episodes 6 and 7, right? Or 7 and 8? No, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
So kind of what we're gonna do here is we're kind of just gonna run through this episode and just or these episodes and just kind of talk about them. I'm not going to do a play-by-play because I'm in charge of this review. So you're going to get the bargain basement discount cousin Cheeto review. So with that all being said, let's get into Caul's Folly, episode 7. So in this episode, we see the Titans convening together, we see the aftermath of what happened when everybody came together to face off against Mother Mayhem, and Brother Blood finally gave himself over to the blood. So at the end of that, Brother Blood sets out a huge belch and wipes everybody away, and they go elsewhere. So we now
But
find
it,
that,
it, I thought that it looked like they were in the same place. I don't
and
get
I
it.
was I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So the thing is that we start off with them all chanting the Azaras Men 3 ounces Zenthos or whatever it's called. I mean, it I heard it a million times in Teen Titans back in the 2000s. But anyway, so yeah, it seemed like they were wiped somewhere else, or maybe Brother Blood's people were wiped somewhere else, and then the Titans were staying in the main line. It didn't make any sense because you're right, they both were in the same place at the same time. Like at the beginning of the episode, the Cult of Blood was still there, but also the Titans were also there. And I thought, okay, so the Titans were wiped away to either like a pocket dimension that looks like it, or counter Earth type thing where it's like the opposite, where the Titans are the bad guys, or something like that. And we didn't get any of that. For some reason, our heroes kind of come together, to figure out what's going on, and we kind of find out everything's still the same. The Cult of Blood is still out there. They're in the main universe. I don't know if there's time travel involved, maybe, but I don't believe in these 2 episodes they even explained what happened there. And Gar is still missing, which we know he's gone to the Red. But still, I don't know, Zam. What do you think
Yeah, we
about
didn't see
all
him
of?
at all.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in these first 2 episodes at all. So, Zam, what do you think about this whole thing? Like the
Well,
beginning part.
look, like you reminded me that this show was coming back, and I had totally forgotten about it. It wasn't on my radar, which is not a good thing for a show. But at the same time, when it did come back, I struggled to remember what the fuck happened with the previous episode, which was like almost half a year ago, and I
4
do recall
months.
that the
Oh,
Titan, yeah, almost 4 months is closer to half a year than it is to not.
but it's closer to a quarter of a year.
All right, fair enough. One third of a year. There's a bit of how's
Sure.
that?
Yeah,
That's spot on.
that
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
that is that is Brexit fractions right there, baby.
Okay, so but the point is that I had to remind myself what the hell happened, and I recall them losing their battle, which was fine. I do like the good guys losing now and again. It's important. They can't win everything, but the reality is now that I also know that this show's been cancelled, it's like my interest is really starting to wane, and I always had problems with this series for various things, like the fact that everyone else is not doesn't have a secret identity, but Dick Grayson does. Yet he hangs around the Titans all the time, whether he be Nightwing or Dick Grayson, and no one's put 2 and 2 together, which is fucking ridiculous. And you could probably say that now about Tim Drake, who will eventually become Robin. So it's just really, like, I'll be honest with you, like this show, like there was a time when I really appreciated this show. I think maybe up to the second season, and even then, like the flashback episodes really pissed me off. But I don't know how I feel about this show right now that I give a damn. But I'm soldiering on with the episodes, and I watch it all, and all of that. But yeah, that this is how I'm kind of feeling, which is unfortunate because we're reviewing this shit.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing, that towards the beginning of the first act of this episode, when everything we're trying to pick up the pieces, of course we have Super Luther, or Luther Boy, whatever you want to call him, the Connor Connor
it's
Kent
like
or Connor Luther who
it's
shaved
like
his
he's
head.
going through. I'm going to be a rebel now.
Yeah,
Like
his
this
Luther
is what I
DNA
don't
is
get.
taking over.
Like I mean, just because he's part Lex. I mean, you are who you are. Yeah, just your genetics doesn't somehow give you a personality trait necessarily in one way or the other. He was a very decent guy who all of a sudden just turned into an asshole, just like that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, I
just
did. I liked Connor in season 2 way more than I like. And as I said, I get the angle they're going with Connor and the Luther side of him. I understand that, but still, you're right. They're kind of swinging that pendulum really hard. Like I would understand if it was like a here and there thing where he kind of goes a little bit too far every now and then, because of his Luther side. But them swinging the pendulum the exact opposite way from last season just kind of is like, okay, we know what you're doing, and you're being a bit heavy-handed about it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's stuff like this. Like it just, and yeah, I know what they're doing, but yeah, at the same time, it's a bit. Considering what we've seen of Connor so far, and for him just to have this sudden personality transformation, it just doesn't work for me, not at all.
Yeah. Okay, so going into the next part of the episode, Dick and Kory go and chat with a lingual specialist. That's what I'm going to call her. I don't remember what they called her
Oh
exactly, but
yeah,
but
yeah,
she
yeah. Who was
knows
a
the
batshit?
coveted
Batshit.
huh?
Sorry, go on.
I said she knows how to speak and write the coveted language of Klingon. So, and then I love Corey's comment. She says,
Yeah,
it's not really a language, right? And Dick's like, you try telling her that.
it is a language, regardless of it being fictional. Regardless of the origin being from a fictional alien race, it is a
I mean,
language.
Elvish is a language like from Tolkien verse. There are people that will swear by that language, and there is an actual language like an Elvish language. So, I mean, Tolkien created a whole language for the Elven people. I don't know if he ever did it for any of the other ones, but he definitely did it for the elves. Okay,
And
so
but like people like this lady, they're always these batshit insane conspiracy theorists, with like maps on their walls leading to one particular spot that fucking explains the reasons of the universe or so. Like this is what she fits into. There's people like her in every one of these fucking shows, isn't there?
yeah, and the newspapers all covered up her windows, and I mean, like, oh man,
Yeah, yeah,
they were
exactly. Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
conspiracy theorying the hell out of her.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, basically, what she does is she's able to translate this ancient Tamaranian dialect that apparently, I mean, I don't. Why would she be able to translate this when like not many people really heard about Tamaranians in the beginning of Titans, like the first season?
Can't Corey translate it? I
No, the
forgot.
translator did. She
Why can't Corey
translated
do
this
it?
ancient Tamaranian dialect that even Corey couldn't read.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought that was very odd. I like the character, don't get me wrong. Like I like the lady, but yeah, it was a bit of a plot hole for me where I'm like, really? So this one person who is just a big conspiracy theorist who is lingual expert can translate ancient Tamarin and ancient, like if it was an ancient human language, I'd be okay, I can see. But an ancient alien language, I'm like, you're
Yeah.
stretching a bit there. Or if maybe she was Tamarinian, you know what I mean? Like maybe she's a Tamarinian that's been living on Earth for a long time we just never knew about. Because keep in mind, not all Tamarinians have powers. So I mean, she could have been there and been a normal person without powers for a long time, So maybe hidden under our Star Labs umbrella or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I mean, she's kind of fun, but she translates, some kind of prophecy bullshit or something about them being there or something. I don't remember honestly. Um, and so we get our mission now. Like now that they are back together, they got their mission. So we get back to the RV and the team is kind of confabbing, trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. And they figure out that they're supposed to be they're trying to find the horn. The horn is the prophecy or whatever. So they're trying to find the horn of Trigon.
Oh my god.
And so they cross-reference
Oh,
some bullshit and look at a map, and it coagulates together at one spot. And yeah, so they now have their heading. So they go into kind of the middle of nowhere. I mean, I think they even say before they get there, it's the middle of nowhere. One interesting scene that I thought that kind of piggybacks off of the Luther stuff is Luther finally. I'm sorry, not Luther. Connor catches up with Percy. Right, Percy, isn't that her name, or isn't that the assistant?
Percy.
It
Oh,
isn't
who works at Star Labs?
No, the assistant, the head assistant for Luther, the one
Oh
that was in
yeah, the British lady, the British
yes.
black lady.
That, truth
Yeah,
be told, I completely forgot about, and I thought that she was Amanda Waller when he first walked in. I'm like, who is that? Is that Amanda Waller? I'm like, I don't remember anymore.
my God, if they had Amanda Waller in this,
And I'm like,
yeah,
so it's not. It's. I think it's Percy. But anyway, so she gives Connor basically saying, he's like, I should kill you or whatever you did to for whatever you did to me and Gar back at the lab or whatever at Cadmus, and she's just like, you could, or you could live up to your destiny, what your father would want. You're hired. Like Shane McMahon going all Vince McMahon on us. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting little thing, but it's kind of this pendulum of the Luther swinging really hard with Connor, and as I said, I'm not really feeling it. Anything to comment on these two scenes, or do you want to?
not really. I mean, the only thing I can think of is the fact that once again, the people who hate on who like to complain about everything and anything to do with issues that are not storyline wise, like the fact that she mentioned that her father was very supportive of her. I doubt Lex Luthor wasn't a racist dickhead or anything like that. Helped a woman of color and stuff like that. People will see that, and they'll be pissed off with that for some reason, and they'll say, "Oh, you see." People of color are bad. Lex Luthor supports them.
Oh God, yeah, I could
You can
see that
imagine.
happening.
Oh my God, I mean, so people like Lex Luthor supports diversity.
I mean, yeah. Hey, I
Like
mean,
this is the
if
sort of
there's
shit we have to fucking deal with.
if there's one thing I've always said, I said Lex Luthor is not really a evil person, but he is a antagonist to Superman. I wouldn't say Lex Luthor's evil. He
He's
always wants to do what's best for humanity, and he doesn't care about the aliens.
I don't know
That's
about that. It depends on which iteration of Lex Luthor you're looking for. The guy can
everyone
sometimes just
I've
be
ever
a creep.
seen has always been Luthor trying to help humanity with, like, basically he does. And granted, Luthor has an ego. Luthor is an asshole, but
Well,
he
yeah, sorry for interrupting, but Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor was nothing like that. All he wanted was land. Yeah, he was trying to enrich himself. Now, obviously, you got the corporate Lex Luthors who are not like that. What's his face, Lex Luthor from Batman versus Superman? He was nothing like that either. But one thing I always got from Lex Luthor was that he knew that Batman was a threat to his corruption. So not Batman, Batman as well, to tell you the truth. But
yeah.
Superman was a threat.
But I
Was a
think he
Superman.
respected Batman more because Batman was human.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
he
mean,
did have a lot of
let's
conflicts with Bruce Wayne, but I always thought he was afraid of Superman because Superman was not corruptible and he was super, and so that always worried him.
well, I think that Lex Luthor was racist, but he was racist against aliens, not against humans. So if you were an alien, he
I
did
agree
not
with that.
trust you.
I agree with that, but there are, I think, versions of Lex Luthor where he's done a deal with the devil, like an alien being, in order to get at Superman. So
Yeah,
it
maybe.
shows you that he's,
I
yeah,
mean, you're right. It just depends on the interpretation that you. But most of the interpretations
yeah.
I've seen of Lex Luthor has mostly been, as I said, he's an antagonist. I don't feel like he's evil, but he's definitely a villain. And according to Zam, if you have money, that person is a villain. So, Bruce Wayne, Lex Luthor, they're all bad guys. So
Well,
anyway,
Bruce Wayne, like Ginger said it best about Bruce Wayne. The guy's a billionaire, yet he wants to run around in latex, fucking trying to beating up criminals when he could just maybe throw his fucking money around a little bit and clean up the streets that way. But no, fuck that. I'm gonna run around at night and fucking use my grappling hook and beat up bad guys and not kill insane killers who are likely to repeat their horrible line of criminality because I had the opportunity to put them away, but I didn't because I'm vengeance, and yet he's a vigilante. Yet he follows the law when he shouldn't be. When he shouldn't be allowed to, because he's breaking the law by being a vigilante. Anyway, that's just going to me on a massive tangent.
Yep. Okay. So anyway, we get back to the story here where Dick, Kory, Tim, and Rachel get out to the middle of nowhere. Bernard catches up with them, and we get to see the sparks fly between
Bernard's
Bernard
electric
and
car.
Tim, and
Are
in
we
his
on episode
electric
8
car.
now?
That's right. Huh?
Are we on episode 8 now?
No, we're still on episode 7.
Okay.
We're halfway through episode 7.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll get to the point where he plugs his car in and like powers the whole building in a minute. So anyway, so we do all that. They're they catch up. They're trying to find this horn. So I don't think they necessarily split up per se, but like they get back in the RV and start driving. Bernard and Tim kind of have some things to talk about, or so Tim wants to go with Bernard because they're going to be a couple. So whatever, but I don't know if I like this pairing though. I mean, sometimes I'm okay with it, sometimes I'm not. It just depends on the day. Like with these two personalities. I don't know.
I just don't give a fuck. I really genuinely don't give a fuck about these two.
I'm more interested in
won't they?
Yeah, I'm more interested in Tim becoming Robin. That's what I want. Like I don't care about the Bernard thing with him. I'm like, I want Robin. Like you can be with Bernard all you want.
We've got a couple of relationship things going on anyway. Like regarding relationships, I'm more interested in Tim and Kory.
You mean Dick and Kory?
Because they. Sorry.
You mean Dick and Kory?
Dick and Kory. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, Dick and Kory. Then
you do want to see Dick and Kory, don't you?
Yeah, but we already know Gar and Raven are an item. So like. That's not interesting either. Just like how their relationship pans out. But regarding Tim and Bernard, I don't give a flying fuck. I really don't.
And that's why I'm saying like I kind of more invested, especially since we know this series is on a clock because this is the last season. And I'm sure when they first recorded this, they didn't know it was canceled because I know that they filmed all this at one time. So I'm sure they didn't know that this was going to be the last season, but the writing was kind of on the wall with James Gunn taking over. But, so anyway, so they're doing that. Eventually the van goes through some kind of magical portal and disappears. And they wind up in 1970s looking middle America.
Yeah. Like an episode not an episode, but it felt like Back to the Future, didn't it?
I got huge Eureka vibes. Do you remember the show Eureka on Sci-Fi? I don't know if you watched it. So I kind of got those vibes with the sheriff and all this, and kind of like the small town feel and a lot of that. Although they're all cultists instead of brilliant scientists.
You didn't get the Back to the Future vibes, like it looked like the Central Square, and the shops and restaurants around that Central Square. And I did think at first I did genuinely think they time traveled, but they didn't. They dimension traveled.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. But as I said, it was kind of really loosely like I don't know what happened at the beginning of the episode because as I said, they all kind of got wiped out in the last episode, and in this episode. They're in the same place, but then the Cult of Blood is not there. But then the Cult of Blood was in the same place also. And it was so, I wasn't sure if time travel, dimensional shifts, whatever. I didn't know what was going on. They didn't really explain it very well. I don't, so.
Well, like Harry Potter, like they could open up a room. Like you put a door against the wall and it makes a special magic room. Or like when they create a tent. And the inside of the tent is bigger than what it looks like from the outside. Or like the TARDIS in Doctor Who, the inside looks bigger than the outside. It's something along those lines, this dimensional thing.
Yeah, I still think they didn't explain it very well. But anyway.
Yeah, they didn't explain it well at all.
No, they really didn't.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, as I said, I like Titans, but there are definitely some plot holes in this in this show that just keep on going. Okay, so they get into a diner. They go to order milkshakes, and the waitress, who looks a lot like the girl from the Spider-Man 2 and 3 movies, the one that was baking Peter cookies and stuff like that. I
It,
got those.
it, it might be her actually. I
It's
knew I
not.
recognized her.
I looked it up. It wasn't her. It's actually an
Okay,
actress. She's never been in anything before. This is her first gig.
oh really? She looks very familiar.
She did,
Yeah,
and that's why I thought she was. Truth be told, just an
yeah. When you
older.
mentioned that, I thought, oh, that's where I thought I'd seen her before.
I
And
swear to
now I
God.
found
And
out
then
this is a
I looked.
debut.
I looked it up,
Yeah,
and she was not. No, this is the first gig
but
she's
then
ever done.
again,
So
I mean, then again, those Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans are like 20 years old now, so she would have looked a lot older
I
theoretically
know,
if
but
that
I
was the
thought
case.
maybe it was just like yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah,
she was a pretty young back then. Anyway,
yeah.
so at this point, we're ordering drinks. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Rachel's getting some bad juju vibes off of this lady. And then the RV is
Yeah, she
getting a
feels the
ticket.
fear.
Yeah, she senses the fear. And then they look out there, and the RV's getting a ticket. So Kory and Dick go to take care of it and basically say, "That's the Titan Mobile. You can't give us a ticket." No, Dick was trying to be all civil service type. He's like, "Oh, can I take care of this
Oh,
right now?"
$150. You
Yeah,
know,
$150. That's very
yeah,
Detroit. I'm like, no, that's
yeah, very.
also very London. Like so.
Dude, you're like, yeah, you're like Bruce Wayne's benefactor here. I mean, Bruce Wayne's your benefactor. Just shut the fuck up and pay the bill. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, still, if it's high end, it's high end. Like I get it. Um,
Yeah, no, I
so just
agree.
because
I
you have the
agree to
money
that
doesn't mean you
degree.
want to spend it. Um,
No, I know, but let's not cause any like there are men on a mission. Let's not cause any problems here, even though the people were going to give them problems.
I think he
You
was
know,
just
let's
trying
just
to be like middle America man at that point. He was trying to be
yeah,
like he wasn't trying to put out that he had like a ton of benefactor from Bruce
yeah. I
Wayne.
guess because Dick Grayson is from a poor background, so I guess yeah.
So okay, so so the sheriff says, what? I think I know what you're looking for. Why don't we meet later and talk about it? And he kind of licks his lips a little bit. No, he doesn't do that, but he's like, you got a pretty mouth there, Dick Grayson. So
Okay.
anyway, so after that, Kory, so they move the RV. Kory starts to drive, and all of a sudden she realizes that the exit to town, it keeps getting further away as she's driving forward. So somehow she magically makes her way I'm guessing she flew, makes her way back to town in no
They didn't
time at
even
all.
really try. They didn't even like they walked about a step or two and just stopped. Like I really wanted to see that played out. Like what's like they weren't really going for the exit that much. It was really hard to understand what was happening. And I mean, was it that they're an invisible force field pushing them back? I couldn't tell.
I think it's just magic. Like who knows? It's just magic.
Oh, it's
Um,
magic for sure.
But so anyway, so we go from there. After that, Kory brings Dick out and shows him the walking trick, and he realizes it too. And so magic, whatever. Okay, they can't get out. Basically, is the bottom line. And so we go back to Rachel, who then um, goes to go talk to the young lady from the. I think her name is her name Megan. I think it was Megan. I think. Um, but she's out back talking to a gentleman with a big beard, and we don't know if that's like an abusive husband or something like that. It's actually her father, but we don't know that at this moment. So then Rachel comes out and says, "Hey, she said like go," and then so he runs. So the big burly bearded man runs off, and because we're supposed to think that this is some kind of bad relationship or something like that.
Abusive relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We haven't got the full
Um,
picture yet either.
So, and then we find out that everybody's been drugged. Yay, drugs! Da, 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 da. Um,
How do
so
we know that? See, I must have missed that bit.
because Rachel
Everyone's been
got
drunk.
really loopy and passed out, and Kory got really loopy and passed out, and I don't know if
Oh,
Dick got.
You mean not when you say everybody? I thought you meant the whole town. No, they
No, no,
drunk their
no, no,
coffee.
just Kory and Rachel, and I think Dick didn't because I think that they said that they put something in the drinks that if you're either a child of Trigon or an alien or something like that, like it affect you. But Tim or Dick was not affected,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Rachel and Kory were. So she so uh, Rachel wakes up in a binded warehouse, and they got shotguns, and we're doing the Texas thing now. We're gonna shoot you with our shotgun if you move, little pretty blondie. So yeah, it's definitely getting like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at this point. So we find out that burly bearded man is blonde girl, which I think her name is Megan. I think that is. I'd have to go back and look again. But that's her father.
Megan.
And they kind of start opening up to one another, basically saying, "Oh, we know what you're here for. Blah blah blah. You're the cult of blood. You're here for the horn." And Rachel's just trying to reason with them, basically saying, "Look, we're not here to hurt you. We're here to stop it." And so this is basically the resistance.
So, like, apart from like these two, is everybody else a cult member in that town?
Pretty much. And we get into why that is next episode. But yeah, it's
okay.
They're the only two.
What makes them resistant proof?
They're both deaf, which makes no sense, and I'll get into that next episode because
deaf.
Yeah, they were both. They're lip readers, but they're definitely. And after they said that, there were absolutely moments where they were talking and they weren't looking at each other.
Oh my god!
I saw it. I was watching for it.
I was expecting you would see. I would like to have seen some sort of sign language as well between the father and daughter. But fair enough.
They're lip readers who can apparently read lips without looking at somebody. So,
well, for deaf people, I didn't pick up on any of that.
So after that, we go back to Dick and Bernard, or Tim and Bernard, sorry. Tim keeps breaking Bernard's toys, and they finally give up and trying to find them because they can't. And they head back to a motel. They get separate rooms, and then we play this Will They Won't They for like 15
separate rooms with a connective door.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Like I want to whack my head against the fucking table with this fucking scene. Just fuck already, man. Jesus Christ.
Well, and they did. I know. And they did.
I know. They played it out for so long, man. Just fuck already.
Yeah. And then the latter half of episode 7, or the end of episode 7, we have Dick going to meet the sheriff who said he had a pretty mouth. And, Dick kind of goes in and starts kind of wandering around and searching. And then the deputies and the sheriff come in, and they're got their belts all hacked up, and they're like, "You certainly made yourself comfortable." He said, "Oh, the door was unlocked." He's like, "Yeah, but the cupboards weren't."
Oh yeah.
And fighting ensues. They beat down Dick, and they beat their own dicks, and then they cart him out in front of the entire town, who is in the square, and they're all watching with their pitchforks and torches. And that's the end of episode 7. And it says at the end,
what happened? What happened to Kory?
Kory was passed out. Kory was passed out.
Okay.
But I think she was in the RV though at this point. But I think they probably found them. And
what happened to Raven? I forgot by the end of this episode.
What do you mean? Raven? She was still in the warehouse with the what's the faces?
The deaf people.
With the deaf people. Right. And that's it for that episode. So let me go to my notes for the next episode. But yeah, so what did you think of this episode? I mean,
it's like Twilight Zone, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the next episode is even more Twilight Zone-y.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 2-part Twilight Zone episode, but honestly, I hate using the term filler, but it felt like it. I
thought there was an opportunity here to do some other stuff, but I mean, I think they just kind of crapped the bed with it. Like they didn't do what they could have done with it. I mean, they could have gone to another dimension where it's like it's the worst case scenario where it's like, the Titans are bad guys, or the alternate universe where like the cult of blood has already won, and like the Titans have to fight back. We could have done something like that in a two-parter like this.
And
They
and
did
now
it
they're gonna get
in
what was
Titans.
Connor do?
Huh?
What was Connor doing in this episode as well? Like, apart from
Just
speaking to his dad's secretary, did he have any other involvement? I can't remember.
exploring his Luthor side is all I can really say. I mean, he was very combative with the Titans at the beginning of the episode, basically saying, "Oh, well, look where your leadership got us." And he said, and then Dick's like, "Well, yeah, we need to change the plan so you can pull your ass out of the fire."
Mhm.
Oh, and also I forgot to mention there was a very nice scene I liked with Raven releasing Jinx's soul, which I still think Jinx is going to be back. Don't you worry.
With this DC here, they'll fucking come back.
And plus, there's magic involved with Jinx. And at the end, when she died in the episode 6, she said, "Oh, not again." So obviously, she's been dead before. So we know
when it
she's
comes to fucking death, that it doesn't exist in the DC universe.
Yep.
Whatever the fucking thing is. Give Marvel more credit. At least they fucking win. Somebody like Tony Stark's dead. We might see him in an alternative universe, but the Tony Stark was not going to come back. Neither is the Black Widow. Even Vision, he wasn't the original. Or he has come back, but he's a robot in the first place. So there is leeway with him. He's not human. So anyway, sorry for yappering.
Nope. I'm actually setting up a poll right now. I'm going to put a poll for episode 7. Yeah, I thought there were a bunch of holes in this episode. As I said, I like this show, but the chinks in the armor have been showing, and as I said, I don't think they knew that they were being canceled, but I think they figured they were being canceled, and that's kind of why they're doing kind of stuff like this.
I'm not sorry for this show to go. To tell you the truth, like it's all over the place, and there's a lot of things that make you question this show, and that's never a good thing. It really isn't, and there's not much more they can do with this show, in my opinion. So
I know, but here's the thing, though, is that I would not be upset if any of these characters came back to reprise their role in the new DC universe, like movie universe. I honestly like a lot of the actors and characters. I like the actor who plays Connor. I like the actor who plays Beast Boy. I like the actor who plays Dick Grayson. I love the actor who plays Tim Drake. I like Kory's a little. I've had a hit or miss with Kory, and I think it's more
Kory.
writing. Well, I think it's more the writing of her that kind of gets to me, but yeah, I really think that she's the one that I'm kind of going back and forth about. Oh, here's your friend. Biden can stay in Ireland.
You said this to us on Friday, and we're talking about Titans now.
Yeah, dude. Come Friday. Friday, we no holds barred. They talk politics. They talk everything. We are talking Titans right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to episode 8. So we start episode 8 where Kory and Dick wake up, and they are in matching PJs in a colonial house that is bullshit, in my opinion. They're kind of playing suburbia.
That was so funny. Yeah, like proper suburban family there, wasn't it?
And here's the thing, like Kory is more worried about, like, you're freaking adults, you're freaking superheroes, you've already slept together. But Kory is super worried about, did we do anything?
Did we fuck even though we fucked before?
Yeah, it's just like Dick's like, look, I don't know if we did anything. But it's like, okay, so that means that it's not like it's like he did anything while she was sleeping. Like if they did something, neither of them remember. So who cares? Let's figure out the problem at hand. I kind of thought that was a bit odd where I'm like, Kory's like, and as I said, especially somebody she's already slept with. Like she's probably, if she doesn't remember and he doesn't remember, who cares?
They banged countless times. He even envisioned them two being a family and having children and shit.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to allude to with this, is that they're being resistant to it now. So when they do get together at the end of the season, it'll be and it's not it's just kind of like cringe, in my opinion.
They're a couple of beautiful people, man. Physically and facially beautiful. Like they fuck each other. You can have a good time. You know what I mean?
So anyway, so I mean, yeah, they're trying to figure out the mystery. Apparently, they've been made this home, and again, I thought this was going to be another alternate dimension, some kind of prophecy, some kind of pocket dimension. Nope, it's just this stupid town making them a house and making them think that they are a couple again, and eventually they will start to believe that they are this couple. We then go to the church in the main of town. I
You
need
can
some.
have me, Rubber Johnny. You can put me inside you. I'm nice. I'm nice, chunky, warm. I'm juicy. Look at these arms. Look at this. Look at that. It's nice
That's a,
and
that's a
plump.
lot of that's a lot of hair.
There's a lot of hair. A lot of extra layers. You know. So
So yeah, so we go to the church, and then of course Mother Mayhem is talking to everybody, saying that the the prophesied has come, blah 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 blah, and introduces her son, who is of course Brother Blood, Sebastian. Um, and yeah, so he walks out. There's like a cauldron there, which I thought I was sitting there watching. I'm like, is this the um is this the horn? Like, I'm like, that's a weird looking horn. No, it's just a cauldron of lava, and apparently Sebastian needs to stick his arm in it and pull out the horn, which he does.
he says
So
he likes my spunk, by the way. And you know what? I got 2 bags, 2 big fat bags, big fat sacks of it as well. Anyway, continue.
so after the service, the two deaf people that we don't know are technically deaf yet, because they gave us no inkling yet that they are actually deaf. Everybody's walking out of the church, and then there starts to be ravens flying around. Oh, what does that mean? Ooh, I wonder what that means. And the sheriff seems to be intrigued as well. So I'm guessing he is going to go and find Raven. I actually kind of forgot about that part. Anyway, so Dick and Kory are still trying to figure out their suburban nightmare, and um, Brother Blood wants to. Right afterwards, Brother Blood is talking to his mom, or I'm sorry, Sebastian. I don't know what the hell you could call him now, Sebastian Blood. Um, but anyway, he's talking to
Why?
his mom, and he's like, "I want to kill Raven. I want her out of my way. She is my last weakness. Mom, you can't force me not to kill my sister." And then he storms off. What were you gonna say?
So there was a moment. I mean, first up, why didn't they bring in Bernard and Tim in that universe as well? They should never excluded them. I know they don't
Well, they didn't
necessarily
exclude
need
him. They
them.
drove. They drove through the barrier, and then Tim and Bernard didn't go through it. Why
Yeah,
they
they
didn't go through
stopped.
it, I have no idea. Yeah, they stopped. So I don't know. Look, you're asking to make sense of that plot hole.
Fair
Um,
enough.
by the way, can I just say how similar Sebastian looks to the actor? I honestly thought that the actor who plays Sebastian was was it Ed Sheehan, the one that plays
Ed Sheeran.
no Sheehan, the one that
Ed
plays
Sheeran.
Jack Crusher on Picard.
They look nothing alike. I mean,
What are
they're
you
both
talking
British,
about?
but
They look very similar.
he looks like somebody else. But
He looks like John Cena
um,
without his glasses on.
I can't really figure out who he looks like right now. Um, maybe I just don't know the name of the actor, and it's not coming to my head. But he does look like somebody. I just can't figure out who it is.
Yeah. So of course the confrontation between brother and sister now. He walks up at one point being frustrated. He cuts her wrist, and then he realizes, oh no, we're linked. So now when he cuts her arm, he gets a cut on his arm. When he slashes her
So
side, he gets a slash in his side too.
hold on. I must have missed this. You say brother and sister? Oh,
Yeah,
you mean Raven and Sebastian?
they're brother and sister in Trigon. Like they're like maybe half.
So why the fuck were they trying to kill her? They would have killed
because
Sebastian.
Sebastian is the true prophesied blah blah blah, and Raven is not. I guess I don't know, man. I'm trying here. I'm really trying.
Me too.
So anyway, so yeah, so they're linked, and Sebastian can't now. Sebastian apparently can't kill her, but other people can kill her without apparently affected, which I think is also dumb. So because we get to see that later, where then regular people try to kill Raven, and apparently they can, but apparently Sebastian can't. So whatever, I mean, like it's kind of like okay, whatever. There, boo. So they have a heart to heart. Raven tries to appeal to Sebastian about Trigon, basically saying that once Trigon is back, you will be a nothing again. And she's like, "It's happened to me. It's going to happen to you." And he's basically like, "I am not a nobody. I'm a somebody because I'm British, I guess."
He was always a somebody, though. I mean, that's the whole point of like Mother Mayhem pandering to him, because he was a somebody.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So after that, the which this is another part. I'm kind of like, what? The Mother Mayhem talks to the sheriff and says, "Kill Raven." And they proceed to not kill Raven. They just kind of leave her there for however long the rest of this episode runs. Because, why not?
Well, they couldn't find her, no?
No, she was there. She was there in the church the whole time. There's a lot of it. Yeah, they apparently this is what I assume happened. The sheriff followed the Ravens to where Raven was, ganked Raven, and brought her to the church. Because they never showed, as far as I can tell, they never showed Raven getting ganked by the sheriff or his.
And she doesn't have her powers, does she?
No, she has powers. They just are different now.
No, but because like she was using her powers in episode 6.
Yes, and she
looking like Assassin's Creed.
Yes,
and
now for some reason she doesn't have them. I don't know. Maybe she's got the power of love now. I don't know.
This fucking show, I'm telling you, man.
Well,
I'm almost upset by it. Actually, no, I'm not almost. I am upset, but I'll get to that at the end.
Okay, so after that, we go back with Dick and Kory. Or I'm sorry, no, wait. There's a small little scene where we get the first hint of the music being kind of a key factor here. Mother Mayhem and Sebastian get into their beautiful car, and she turns the radio on, and it's BLUD, blood. Here on the radio today, we're gonna bring you our hypnotic rhythms. And so, Blood says, "Turn that off. It annoys me."
Have we cut back to the real world with Dick and Bernard yet? Because they're going through like.
You mean Tim and Bernard? And no, not yet. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, Tim
and
Bernard.
We're not there yet. So anyway, but the first hint of this actually being like the music is that she doesn't turn the radio off. She says, "I'll turn it off in a little bit," but obviously she's trying to kind of sway Sebastian to follow her directives. So yay. We go back to Dick and Kory at the counter again, and that's where we start to get the more hints that the music is the issue, because as they're listening to the radio, they all kind of get this like trippy little pulsating whatever in their ears. So they kind of get that hint. And
this time it's Dick who's the one who's actually Kory gets taken over first, doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit later, yes. So the blonde girl, Megan, says that she wants to talk to, or she puts on a note in their menu saying that they need to talk out back. And then David Harbour lookalike with the beard comes out with a shotgun and says, I don't remember what he says, but basically,
rebel.
Yeah, rebel, pretty much. Basically, Dick does Dick things and turns the gun on him, and they're basically, so now Dick and Kory are in control. And basically they're saying, look, we are the resistance. We are not under the spell.
It's about time Dick shows how he can fight, because he had 3 coppers on him. I know one of them had I know one of them had a taser, but he's still better than that. And I'm surprised that he let those 3 police officers take him down, because that should be a walk in the park for someone like Dick Grayson, who's dealt with all types of scum and villainy and some 3 hick-neck cops. He can't beat them up. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, I think there was a bunch of them, or was that was the end of this?
No. In the previous episode when he was checking the cupboard and stuff, and he got tasered, before that, before he even got a chance of being tasered, he should have taken care of all three of those cops. With one hand tied behind his back and both eyes closed. That should be a walk in the park for someone like Dick Grayson. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Even if they got blunt objects, it should have been a walk in the park for him.
Yep. Okay, so basically, this is where they find out that they're lip readers, and they're able to read lips without looking at lips. Which, sure, as I said, once they said that, I'm like, what? I'm like, that makes no sense. They're, and I was even watching. But anyway, so we find out that Megan lost her hearing in a swimming accident when she was younger, and David Harbour lookalike lost his hearing voluntarily or self-induced hearing loss. He probably stabbed out his eardrums or something because the music was driving him insane, and he figured out that the music was what was controlling them. So they're deaf, and then we find out that they have these little injected sights behind their ears, which is helping take them over with the music. And yeah, so that's kind of where we head back to Tim and Bernard. Do you have anything to say about this before we get back to Tim and Bernard for a bit?
No.
Okay.
And I know who Thingy looks like now.
Who? The
He
girl?
looks like this actor. No, he looks like this guy. I'm gonna show a picture of him. Let's have a look. I think this is a good picture. Let me share. Brother Blood. He looks like this actor. Let me see, bring up the picture. Here we go. This is a British actor called Sean Maguire.
I don't see that at all.
It looks just like him.
Okay.
Look at this. Look, there we go. Look, that's him.
I
Sean
don't.
Maguire.
No. Don't see it. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, and I think all you British people look the same. So I mean,
Okay.
Anyway, so we go back to Dick and Bernard, and they're following trace something or others of Kory's essence or powers or whatever bullshit. They come to a radio station with graffiti on it, and we find out that there's just an empty radio station there. So there is actually some kind of dimensional something at play here. And they find a young man sitting outside with a radio, and they talk to him and he basically says, yeah, I'm waiting for my sister and my dad. I wonder who that is. Who have we met who might be a sister and a dad?
Yeah, and he's not deaf, is he, this guy?
No, he's not deaf. He's also playing on the radio their favorite song, hoping they'll come back. So, and apparently he's been going there for every day for a decade, which is absolute bullshit, if you ask me.
Every day for a decade.
Yeah, that's
like longer. That's longer than Aquaman's dad going on that pier.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like it was either once a day, every year, and they just happened to be there that same day that he was there, or it was every day for a decade. And I'm like, because it was definitely a decade. He said a decade, so I know it's either one day a year for a decade, or it's every day for a decade. And I call absolute bullshit on that. Like after a couple weeks, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll leave a note. If you guys find this note, come find me here. Like
it's bollocks and bullshit. I agree. But he feels like they're still alive, but he can't explain why.
Yeah, right.
They're still here, even though I don't see them, but I can feel them.
Yeah. So anyway, we go back to Dick and Kory, and they're trying to figure out how to counteract the music hypnosis that they're going through, and they decide to make some mixtapes for themselves. Mine would be like "Baby Got Back," and some other '90s classic gems. But no, they actually record notes to, or not notes, but like the video logs to one another about their pain and reminding them of who they are. And so we go back to the whole Grayson incident, the Flying Graysons incident, and Kory goes to her grandfather dying, and yeah, it was okay. I mean, whatever. I thought,
Bollocks.
yeah, kind of. And so by the time, and of course we get the part where, Dick is talking about him and Kory and, and stuff like that. And I think Kory even mentioned a little bit about Dick, and they're basically will they, won't they thing, but they're both thinking the same thing, but they're not thinking it together. I don't know, some bullshit. So by the time Dick Grayson comes back downstairs, Kory has already been pulled into this, not universe, but like this facade, let's call it. So she's been pulled into this facade, and now
Goddamn birds. That's my Captain America shield, if you're wondering what's going on. They knock it down. It's you, isn't it, Blue? It's you. You fucking knock it down every goddamn time. Once you used to get my Iron Man, my Thor's hammer, and my Captain America shield. As long as my thingy's still there, my death is still there. But the other three things, they keep getting, these little fuckers. They just can't leave it alone. They keep knocking it down. Anyways.
So she's gone into the facade, and so now we go back to Tim, Bernard, and brother
Nero.
Brother Nero, yeah, why not? So they're trying to figure out this radio station, or this radio, what is it? Radio outlet, radio, whatever you want to call it.
Some sort of shack where Bernard's car is able to power everything.
Yeah.
And
so Bernard goes to leave.
Interdimensional travel.
Well, I mean, Tim is saying that they shouldn't leave. Bernard is saying that he shouldn't leave, but Tim has a Sundog Uber, whatever that means. I have no idea what that means. Is that I don't.
Well, look, I drive an electric car, and the car itself is one big battery. Yeah.
Yeah, you're skipping ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking
you are
about the
so
car.
Excited about the electric car part. Like you're just like you're ready to plug that shit. Literally.
Yeah, I am.
So anyway, so Bernard or Tim says he has a Sundog Uber.
Yeah, by the way, I'm so glad you're hosting this because I would not remember any of this shit.
I'm going through my notes. Like that's.
God, you're reminding me of all the bullshit. And me trying to stay awake watching this bollocks. Anyways.
So Bernard leaves, and then after that we go back to Dick and Kory. They go to the church, where Dick has yet another confrontation with the sheriff of Midwest
Nottingham.
Yeah, I would say Rottingham, but
sheriff of Rottingham.
So now of course we have more deputies, huh?
Dimension Ham.
Dude, how many I counted I think 12 deputies. Like this little town has 12 or 13 deputies. It's insane. And hello, Mr. Systems.
Hello, Mr. Systems. Top of the evening to you.
And so they start to blare 98.6 BLUD, the blood, over the speakers, trying to get Dick to kind of phase or whatever into his little persona. And so they just start going ham on Dick, and Dick just starts.
Kory's full on taking over, but Raven is still, she's got it together.
Yep, that's right. Dick keeps going in and out of his little persona. Kory's gone, and Raven is kind of just sitting in the place. You got these two guards coming in, and Raven kind of starts playing mind games with him, saying, I'm the daughter of Trigon. I am Geordie LaForge's daughter. So I'm like, okay. So she finally convinces the one that he's like, I am not getting killed by Trigon when he comes back. Like if Sheriff wants to do it, he can do it himself. So then they eventually just pop a cap in each other and whatever. Back to Dick. He's fighting a pretty decent fight sequence with Dick and the cops here. In the church, he kind of like barrel flips one over through a pew. I'm like, you ever see some of those scenes? And I know it's like plywood that they go through or whatever, so it's not actually as solid. But pews are solid. Like, I know you, Sam. I know you don't sit in pews, but like they are solid.
Yeah, I've been to church. I mean, I went to a Church of England school.
I
I've
know.
seen, I've seen pews. Yeah, I mean, like, even if it was ply, it would still fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he goes through it. I'm like, oh.
I mean, like we're talking about landing on parts where it's like being punched in the back by a piece of wood. Yeah, I mean, you're landing right on. You're not landing on the flat. You're landing on the edge, and that's gonna hurt regardless.
Yep. So the one guard that was going to kill Rachel, actually, because they kind of the two cops kind of busted cap in one another, and the one that wanted to shoot Rachel is still kind of up and with his gun. But then here comes Dick to save the day, and he stops him and he knocks him out. Dick and Rachel come outside, and they are met by David Harbour wannabe.
Oh,
And
isn't this the part where like somehow Raven's able to talk the police officer out from killing her?
yeah,
And they end up killing each other, and
yes,
that's when Dick stops. But one of them
yeah.
is still alive, and he's about to kill Rachel.
Yep.
But he manages.
You just explained exactly what I just explained.
I'm just making sure. Just making sure. Sorry, I am very exhausted right now.
I know. I'm trying to make my way through this as fast as possible. So even though I said I wouldn't do a play-by-play, we always go into a play-by-play for some goddamn reason. So anyway, so basically, David Harbour wannabe says, "Oh, you don't want to go to the radio station. Nobody ever comes back from there." Dick's like, "Well, that's exactly why we want to go to the radio station." So they make it up to the radio station. Bernard comes back on the other side or in the other dimension or whatever. Plugs in his Zam. Here's your part. He plugs in the car and charges the whole building.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's quite a small car. I mean, it is like a glorified generator, and there is a lot of power in that battery in order to make a car move. But I mean, what sort of power are we talking about regarding that building and interdimensional travel? How much power is required for that?
Well, it's not the interdimensional travel. It's just them powering it to play like stuff on the radio.
If you're powering a radio, then that fucking electric car will do that no problem. No fucking problem at all.
Yeah. No, it's not like it's powering like an interdimensional vortex or anything like that.
It will hardly lose any power. Excuse me. Radios are nothing when it comes to electric cars. You don't notice the power.
Yeah.
Being depleted.
So Bernard comes back, plugs in his car in there, brings coffee. They start playing a song that's supposed to be like memorable or whatever for Megan and her dad and her brother. And so apparently somehow, like Palpatine's return, David Harbour wannabe was able to hear this song, even though he's deaf. Over the radio.
Yes.
I don't know how that happened.
But Jesus Christ, why are we watching this? You know, seriously now, like this level of stupidity, I don't care.
Well, he even acknowledges it. Because even the daughter Megan says, she's like how can you hear that or something, like she says that, and he says, I don't know, I don't understand it, I can just hear it. Okay,
convenient.
Yeah,
somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said that. And so then they go to they head out and they head up to the what's it called, the radio station. Dick and Raven show up at the radio station, and Dick starts. They get confronted by more deputies from the department. Or maybe they were just. I can't remember if they were actually deputies or if they were just like guys. I thought they were deputies though.
I thought they had fucking idea.
No, I think they're just guys. The guy, so they start to beat down Dick. Dick's having a hard time because he's like, phasing in and out of this persona. Rachel chucks a trash can at
You would
him.
have thought a whack in their head would have phased him back in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So Rachel chucks a trash can at one of them and knocks him out. Rachel then brings him back by saying, "I'm remember Detroit." And so Dick beats crap out of him. They get into the radio area, which is the exact same place that Tim and Bernard are in, technically just in another dimension or whatever. They find a dude strung up being drained of blood. Wow. I mean, who would have saw that coming? It's a brother blood thing. And so Dick just knocks the whatever device that is, starts knocking the blood out of it because it's powered by blood, and then blows up, just trashes the radio, and it stops playing the song. The dimensional barrier starts to come down, and then we finally get a reuniting. The guy that's strung up kind of dies. Like he's just whatever. He's like, it's too late. They have the horn.
Yeah, the Horn of Destiny.
We get David Harbour and Megan reuniting with what is brother Neo, whatever we're calling him. Tim and Bernard get reunited with Tim and Kory and Rachel, and we walk off, and then we get our end scene where it's Connor Luther sitting down with Brother Blood, and they say, or he buys him a drink, and then Connor walks over there, and Brother Blood says, "What are we toasting to?" And Connor says, "The future." And then it goes to black.
Thank God for that. I'm going to black right now. Fuck me. All right.
Zam, overall thoughts?
Just so fucking bollocks.
Dude, we got there are 8 votes on the poll for episode 7. That's amazing. I didn't think there were even that many.
I have no how do I say this? I don't miss this show. And I'm watching it for the sake of it. And I wish it was better than what it is.
I think that's my thing. Is that I'm holding out for it to be better than it is because I love Nightwing so much. But even I have to get to the point where I'm starting to admit that it's definitely. By the way, there's a poll in there for episode 8 now. So, it seemed like a lot of people were 1 to 5 on episode 7. So episode 8, I'm sure will probably be worse. Somebody ranked it 10 though.
Of course, somebody ranked it 10. But yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
not for me. I'm ranking it right now. 1 second, where the fuck is it?
But yeah, even I have to admit the fact that even though they may not have known they were being canceled, I think the writing was kind of on the wall. I really just have issues with the way they're using some of these characters. I love a lot of the actors that are playing these people. It's just the writing. The writing is where I'm like, come on. Like, out of this entire 2 episodes, Rachel did not use her powers once, and she has powers. She used them in episode 6. And I'm pretty sure she never said that. She said her powers were different in episode 7, but she did not say that she couldn't use them. And so
they're trying to make the most coolest character, the one who is all about his own personal fighting ability and skill with no powers, which is Dick Grayson. Everyone else, apart from Tim Drake, has powers, and Tim Drake is the successor to Dick Grayson, so it makes sense that he doesn't have powers. All the Robins don't have powers, So it's just it is just so bad. This show is just so fucking bad, and I really genuinely wish this was a lot better than what it is. But I don't care for this show. it's going nowhere. I'm not fussed that it's ending. You know, it doesn't seem like fun anymore. You know, what the fuck is Gar? Is he? What's the?
Well, Gar, the
It's
next
just.
episode is Dude, Where's My Gar? So we're
And
gonna
so it's going to be. So we're going to have a Gar centric episode, and like this show does stuff like this, where they make things so centric regarding one particular character that the overall story doesn't necessarily continue with just following one person, and when it'd be better jump between different narratives. This is what it does. To spread out its season. This show is really shit. The Titans has become really shit, and it's a shame. But it's not surprising that it's been cancelled because in a way it doesn't warrant a season 5. Like I'm happy for them being Warner Brothers, whoever owns fucking DC nowadays, to try something different. Maybe even reboot this and do it again, but this time be a bit smarter about it. Don't have Dick Grayson mingling with people, whether he's Dick or he's Nightwing. I mean, shit like that will be stupid. And if you do that, then let like people at the press or whatever or social media start answering the question: is Dick Grayson Nightwing? Because in today's world, someone like Dick Grayson, even Bruce Wayne, will be outed as fucking Batman.
Yeah,
You know?
it would just take it's within 2 degrees. People would put the paparazzi would even put the stuff together.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So
go ahead and give your rank, Zam. Did you give your rank for
I'm
episode
giving
7?
both. Yeah, I did. I ranked it but I haven't mentioned my rank verbally, but I have ranked it. I'm gonna just to not muck around here. I'm giving both episodes a 3. I have not enjoyed coming back to this, and I am going
Well,
to
we've only
finish this
got 4
journey.
more episodes left, so
4 more episodes. That's under. I thought we only had 2, but all right, fair enough. Yeah, this
nope, there's
nightmare
6 episodes
continues.
on the second half, so we already got
Fair
2
enough.
in.
You know, I have not enjoyed returning back to this show, and I'm very much looking for the journey to end, and we can close this chapter once and for all. I do hope for a decent finale, but I'm not holding out.
I know. Same here. Same here. I'm going to give. I was actually going to give both episodes a 4. So I mean, I was a little more generous than you, but I agree. It's a very generous 4. I thought the first half of this season was okay. I thought it was doing really well, and then we hit this mid season, and we come back, and it's just all bullshit.
Yeah,
Just
I agree. This show never needed this. Mid-season was the worst thing to happen to this show. I mean, I was okay with the season so far. I mean, but now we've had a chance to be without this show for several months and come back to it within the same season. You kind of realize this is fucking bollocks, and we're fucking putting up with it. I'm really happy that, in a way, this is ending. I'm done. I really am. I'll finish it, but I'm done. I'm done with the Titans. Fuck the Titans. Fuck everything.
okay. Yeah, so that's our
What
reviews.
was your rating? You never gave me your
Yeah, I did. I
rating.
said I gave them both 4s.
Oh, fair enough.
Very generous 4s. It looks like the polls and the chats have also both done 1 to 5. So anywhere between 1 and 5 on both episodes. So it looks like the chat agrees with us. We are not getting what we deserve out of this show. And as I said, I love Nightwing. Nightwing is one of my favorite DC characters. Period. Not even my favorite Robin. He's one of my favorite DC characters. And this is what you're doing to this. And as I said, it's not even necessarily that I have a problem with Nightwing in this show. It's everything else around it, really. That honestly, this whole show is just in the writing and just we're
This is the
definitely
first live action Nightwing we've ever had. Is that
this
correct?
is yep. And it took 2 seasons to get there. Remember, it was the season finale of season 2 where we actually got Nightwing. So we've only lived with Nightwing in 1.5 full seasons right now. because he was technically still Robin at the beginning of season 1.
Yeah, he was Robin in season 1. He was a Robin in season 2. And the
Well, he
outfit
was
looked
no, he
shit.
was Dick Grayson in season 2. He didn't become
He
Nightwing
was
until the last
yeah,
episode.
yeah, but he's yeah. All right, semantics. But the point is,
Because there was Jason Todd also, who was technically Robin.
yeah. Oh god. And
So,
everything, and even having England as Batman, I love England, but he wasn't. He's not
oh
supposed to
no,
be
he was a better
Batman.
Alfred. He would have been Alfred. He should have been Alfred.
And to a degree, like the Titans needed maybe the odd cameos. I mean, we had Batman in this
We had
as
Bruce Wayne
Bruce
in this,
Wayne.
and we had like
Yeah,
Batman
Bruce
and like
Wayne.
Fever Dream in season 1.
Look, it seems to coming back to me like how they treated Lex Luthor. Like Lex Luthor, not Miss Mother Mayhem and Brother fucking Blood. Lex Luthor is your villain, and you fucking throw him under the bus after one episode. I mean, they look the way they promoted this show that Lex Luthor was going to be the season villain.
Yeah.
Remember?
And actually, I'm okay with him not being the villain, but I do agree with you that they did like threw him right under the bus, like they killed him in the first
You
episode.
killed him, man. He's one of the greatest villains in DC. He's Superman's arch nemesis. He's got a record with Batman as well. And this is what you do with him? Like it's an absolute joke. Absolute joke. They've really not benefited this villain in the right way when he's the ideal villain for this show. A good counter narrative to Connor. Kind of like but the thing with Connor is that he's OP as fuck compared to someone like Dick Grayson who tends to be in every fucking fight.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about Batman. Batman's or Superman's completely OP to Batman, but we always are like, oh, Batman can go up against Superman.
Like in look, cartoons is one thing. We only had one live action, and Justice League as well. But even then, that was a bit different. But like we haven't had it like this. Like we haven't had like several episodes, hours and hours, of Nightwing and Superboy, like the way we had Batman and Superman, in live action. Nothing doesn't even come close.
I still think Dick Grayson could take on Connor Kent in a detective versus overpowered way. I do believe if Batman can take on Superman just because of detective reasons, I think that Dick Grayson could take on Superboy. Superboy is young and naive technically, so he could get outsmarted very easily.
Superboy is, theoretically, just a child.
Yeah,
he's like
he's like 2.5
years old. Yeah, and regarding detective, Batman is the world's greatest detective, but people underestimate Clark Kent because they forget what his day job is, and that is an investigative journalist, which has its own way of being. And if you ever watch the Batman versus Superman director's cut, it really does justice. It really does justice to Clark Kent being a detective trying to find out who this bat is and doing the homework to find it.
I agree. The director's cut of Batman v Superman.
I'm having a more difficult time. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. This show is so fucking shit, and I can't wait for it to end. It really is. This show's become a disservice to Titans. It should be.
All I know is that somebody voted another 10 in the chat, and I think it was you, Daniel Vance. We got 9 votes. All of them are between 1 and 5, and then there's 110. And Daniel Vance, I know it's you. All right, so we've got to wrap it up here. I've got to go do some things. I do apologize.
You got to be a dad.
I got to go be a dad. I'm sorry. This went on a lot longer than I thought it would.
When we have just to let the people know, we have an interview that we recently recorded with Vance and Daniel. So not Daniel Vance, with Vance Major and Frank Parker Jr. And when's that coming out?
Tuesday maybe. Let's say. Do we have a review on Tuesday? I don't think so. When's Ted Lasso?
Our review. Ted Lasso will come out Wednesday or Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
The show comes out on Wednesdays, but because we do Mandalorian on Wednesdays, it's just when I can pull it out.
Yeah,
And
because we've got
Thursdays,
Mando Wednesday, we've got Star Trek
which will be the
Thursday.
last episode. Last episode of Mando, last episode of Star Trek.
So we're gonna actually the following week we're really going into break.
Oh, we can fill it. No,
we can fill it.
We can with Titans the following week.
Yay!
Yeah, hallelujah.
And I mean Ted Lasso you can put out whenever. I mean Titans can be Thursday, and then we always have our Friday night chats. But yeah, I think we're kind of coming up on a break here. Star Trek doesn't start back up with Strange New Worlds for another month or so, right? In actually 2 months in June, I think, is when that comes back.
The break will be. I'll be honest with you, like
it'll be nice.
I'm sure I'm going to make videos here and there. Just so you know, like you saw that quick short I made on Jeremy Renner.
Yep. Well, I didn't see I saw that you did it. I did not have a chance to watch it yet.
It's just so good because and people not knowing Jeremy Renner almost died about 4 months ago, and if he didn't die, he might have not been the same Jeremy Renner we once knew. He might have had certain parts of his body amputated. Yeah, he survived all of that. He's able to walk again as well. But at one point there was talk about him not walking.
They were talking about not walking. They were talking about amputation.
Yeah, he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He had a walking stick on him, and it's really good to see.
Here's the thing. I don't think we will ever see him in an action role capacity ever again. But I mean, as I said, I'm not worried about that only because his safety and his life is way more important than any of that. But it's like, yeah, I think now he's going to I think he's going to show up in the MCU
he's 51. Again. He's 51 as well. Like he can't be. Yeah, so, he's not a young man.
Yeah, I think he's going to. I think he's kind of been into forced retirement for. In the MCU now. I think he may show up in the MCU again, but he will be, not active Clint Barton. He will be, he'll probably be getting around, with a cane, and so which as I said, I'm fine with.
Well, as far as I was concerned, at the end of Hawkeye, he retired.
He did, and that's I feel like we got decent closure there. But I know they were talking about bringing him back for season 2, and honestly, like as I said, I wasn't wishing this on him, but I was like, I really wish they wouldn't because I want Kate Bishop to kind of become her own thing. And I don't mind Clint Barton showing up, but I kind of do like.
For me, the only thing Clint Barton can do is be Nick Fury's successor. I mean, Maria Hill could possibly do it, but I wouldn't mind it, considering he's been more in the field, than Maria Hill has. Yeah, Cheetah needs to go. I'm really sorry, dude.
I know. No, it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I mean, Zam, if you want to stay and chat with people, that's fine. But I gotta go.
No. Look at me. I'm running on empty.
Yeah,
I've done even though our streams are coming to an end soon regarding the amount we got. I've done a lot this week.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to enjoy the after this upcoming week. I think I'm going to enjoy a little bit of the break. I'll probably get the urge to start making some because I do have some banked footage and some banked videos that I've been working on. So I mean we'll probably start spacing those out every other day or something like that to kind of fill the void. So you guys get your nerd too.
There's a few shows. There's a few shows like Succession and Yellow Jackets. People are talking about Daniel Vance. If you get a chance, watch Mayor of Kingstown. Really good. It's a bit like The Wire, but a lot better in my opinion. Zam sleep stream, easiest stream. Yeah, mate. Yeah, my sleeping ass has become a meme, and I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So anyway, but the people who make fun of me, they type stuff on YouTube and they try to make jokes or whatever. And I just Ginger tries to make a joke, and I'll just stick my meme in his fucking comment section saying, "Yeah, this is boring."
Dude, I love it. I think it's amazing. Yeah. So anyway, so maybe probably after this week, we'll probably be taking a little bit of a hiatus. We'll have some of our normal stuff out, but don't expect too much like extra from us.
It'll be spontaneous.
Yeah, it'll probably be spontaneous, but we're definitely going to be around. We ain't going anywhere. And definitely I will sneak into Zam's room at some point and set up a camera and get sleep streams going. So,
hell yeah.
Anyway, with that all being said, everybody, thank you much for joining us for Titans. Let us know in the comments what you think about this week's 2 episodes. Do you think it was dog shit like we thought? Do you think that it was that we're being too harsh on it? Which you're wrong if you are, if you think that. And yeah, so Zam, of course, thank you very much for joining me for this and toughing it out. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.